Inviting God in Jewish holidays.
Firstborn plague was done by God himself. Free will is from being in awe. The holiday is called Mikra Kodesh because it gives us an inner calling. You can only succeed once you have failed. Our self or soul is a spark of the greater self, God. The holy person enjoys the physical world without becoming enslaved by it with addiction. Many prophecies come in the form of images. The universe is separate from God, and God had to make a deal with the universe for the Jews to receive the Torah. We live in a dualistic world and must embrace the full spectrum of emotions and experience. Neuroses substitutes legitimate suffering, says Carl Jung. The true inner self or soul is godly, and therefore we're attracted to godly things. God cries over the temple. You treat every human with respect. You're a believer in God. We need to stop talking so much. What we all truly want is love. In every Rosh Hashanah, a whole new level of love enters the world. When we deny our suffering, we end up suffering in other ways. They're all infinitesimal next to infinity. The term scapegoat comes from the Azazel he-goat on Yom Kippur. The concept that God is a king is separating us from God. Shema is teaching about panentheism. In Rosh Hashanah, we imagine ourselves separate from God. And on Yom Kippur, we imagine ourselves completely one with God. God loves us with the very love he loves himself, because we are an aspect of his very self. Satan's purpose is to challenge us so we keep rising to higher levels of connection to God. The Zohar gives a metaphor to describe evil, that God, the king, gives his son a prostitute so he learns to overcome materialism by eventually realizing that's not what is in line with his own integrity. The code is about celebrating the journey of life. The sukkah represents being hugged by God. The four species represent pulling different aspects of ourselves together. The sukkah can be big enough to accommodate the entire Jewish people, technically. The natural elements of the holiday represent returning to nature, symbolizing the ambience of the Garden of Eden. There's more joy and anticipation than the end result. God gave himself to us in writing, which is the Torah. Zohar says when you don't need things to be perfect, everything always feels renewed. It's recognizing everything is perfect because there's a perfect light beyond. The Jew is a timeless, immortal entity. The Talmud says it's the baby sucking that generates the flow of the milk. This applies to our connection with God, who's like a suckling woman. Purim teaches that everything is part of God's will. Even in the most difficult moments, we know to trust God because his love for us is unconditional and forever.